When your daughter finally completes her education and graduates with top honors, your heart is at rest because you can now enjoy the fruits of your labor. However, that was not the case for Mr. Fred Rudagumba, Dr. Catherine's father, for his flower was plucked mercilessly, just as it was starting to blossom. Welcome and welcome back to Tavern Crime Chronicles. We explore strange, mysterious, chilling, and unsolved cases. If you have the nerve for fascinating stories, this is your channel. Today, we dive deep into the heartless murder of Dr. Catherine Agaba, a young, hardworking, kind, calm, and diligent doctor. We all know that nothing should warrant taking another person's life, but up to now, I have failed to wrap my hands on the reason this young doctor's life was taken viciously. And to know that your murderer could be someone you pass by every day and say hello even sends shivers down my spine. So sit down, grab a drink as I take you down this broken road. Dr. Catherine's story begins in Mbarara City, in the western region of Uganda. If you have been to Africa or are even planning to visit, this area should be on your bucket list. With an estimated population of about 400,000 people, Mbarara City is the second largest after Kampala. Commonly known as the land of milk and honey by the locals, the land where the sun sets, Mbarara is home for the Anko longhorn cattle, and if you have a love for historic sites, Igongo Cultural Center will be your home away from home. Dr. Agaba Catherine is the firstborn of Fred Rudagumba and the late Augustine Rudagumba. Born on August 29, 1992 in Kagangi Village, she went to St. Helens Primary School, Mbarara, Maryhill High School for her O-levels and Gayaza High School for her A-levels before finally entering the gates and graduating from Mbarara University of Science and Technology. We all know that as the firstborn of the family, expectations are always so high, and Dr. Catherine exceeded them, becoming the hope of the family and the light to her younger siblings. And as you can almost guess, she graduated with top honors, thereafter did her internship at St. Francis Nsambia Hospital before she was employed by International Hospital Kampala IHK. While at IHK Hospital, Dr. Catherine rented an apartment in Nyenga, a Kampala suburb, and it was on these premises that she unfortunately breathed her last. On April 11th, Dr. Catherine went on leave after she had worked for 15 straight months, according to Dr. Michael Oling, the hospital's director of medical services. She had worked for so many hours and needed some rest. She did about 250 hours a month, nearly 4,000 hours. She was supposed to do an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. shift, but in most cases, she would leave the hospital past 11 p.m. because she was busy treating patients. She was very passionate about her work, but at a certain time everyone needs a rest, and so Dr. Catherine took her annual leave on April 11th and actually disclosed to her colleagues that she would spend it with family and even celebrate Easter holidays with her father in Mbarara. 2 days later, her younger brother, who had traveled from the village, didn't find her home. His visit was mainly intended to have her guide him on his university admission application. When he reached the residence, the door was locked. He tried to call her number, but it was off. When he inquired from the security guard, he was informed that Agaba had traveled out on Saturday morning, April 13th, with a roller bag and handbag. Not convinced, her brother first contacted his uncle, who congregated with other relatives to chart a way forward. Immediately, many calls were made to family and friends, first to avoid causing unnecessary alarm in case she could be taking vacation somewhere. Later, on Tuesday, April 16th, they rushed to Kabalagala police to report a case of a missing person. Notices were sent out on all social media platforms and a full-blown search by the police was sent out. Easter holidays were not the same for all who knew the missing doctor. The 9-day search ended on Easter Monday after Dr. Catherine's body was retrieved from a septic tank behind her rented apartment in Nyenga, a posh Kampala suburb. You might be probably wondering if it was intuition that led the police to search the septic tank, but after a one Ronald Ken Abango vanished shortly after the doctor's disappearance, the search team became suspicious. Having been a security guard at the premises, and even mentioned that he had seen her travel out with 2 bags to her brother, it raised eyebrows, and Abango was tracked down from his village in Apak district, in the northern part of Uganda. In Abango's words, Dr. Catherine was becoming a threat to his job because she had reported him to his boss, the landlord, for absenteeism and poor workmanship. The doctor always away at work, Abango harbored a grudge, and it was on this fateful day when she was off to enjoy her leave that Abango attacked her, strangled her to death, and thereafter undressed her and dumped her body in the septic tank. He would later rob her of a home theater, a gas cooker, mobile phone, a flat-screen TV, and utensils, among other items which would later be recovered from his sister's place. Her friends and family were called to the scene to identify the body, and in her uncle's words, he said, "I don't know how I will ever erase the picture of what I saw as Kathy's decomposing body was retrieved from the septic tank. It was such a horrible sight. Her ever-smiling face was no more and the body naked." Mr. Cavieri, her uncle, said as his eyes turned red. Her family actually requested to have a closed casket burial ceremony because there was nothing to see. She deserved to be remembered as Kathy, but not what was left of her. She was later laid to rest in her home village Kashari, Barara district. And as her loved ones remain with more questions than answers, on why the hope of the family had to go so fast just when her life had begun, she definitely did not deserve to go the way she did. No one does. Abango was remanded to Lizira prison over charges of aggravated robbery and murder of Dr. Catherine Agaba. Yoweri Museveni, Uganda's president, while condoning with the family, commented that the country has lost such great, brilliant mind. Such a murderer should not have the luxury of going to prison. Suspects who commit heinous crimes like murder don't need to be given a chance of being taken to prison, but rather sentenced to death there and then. Ugandan laws are too soft that people no longer fear to commit crimes such as murder because they are sure that they will be taken to court where they will receive lenient sentences. The president said when his government took power in 1986, they made some changes in the punishments given to people who commit heinous crimes, and among them was the death penalty, but noted that there is need to revisit and amend the law. Now, I am not the maker, and neither am I the judge, but I bet the gates of hell are gladly waiting for Abango, Dr. Catherine's killer. No one has the right to take the life of another. And this pretty much sums it up for today. What are your thoughts about this chilling case, by the way? Do you think there was a bigger motive behind the murder of Dr. Catherine? Or more investigations need to be made to rule out who could have sent him to commit such a heinous crime? Do you think the law should be revisited and the death penalty brought back? Share your thoughts in the comments section down below. And if this is your daily dose of content, remember to like this video and subscribe if you haven't. I recommend you check out the rest of our videos. See you next time.